Hi friend, in this video we will be learning about PS drives and we will see how we can work with PS drives. So let us start the video. So what are PS drives? So PS drives are nothing but logical access point for providers. And what are providers? So providers are adapters which let us connect external technology with power cell. And PS drives allows any data store to be accessed like a file system drive as if it were a mounted drive. So when we connect any data store, so we will see those data store as if it were a mounted drive. So if we see something like a mounted drive, so we will be able to work with those things as if we are working on any local file system. And PS drives are only available within Windows PowerShell. So we don't have any feasibility to access PS drives using any other tool like File Explorer or CMD.exe. And we have some inbuilt PS drives already available in PowerShell, but still we have option to create our own Windows PowerShell drives and we can work in that one. And here you can see we have those list which is already inbuilt available in PowerShell. So what are all those lists? So we have alias, we have file system drives which include C drive, D drive, or we have any network drive connected with PowerShell. And after that we have certificate drive, we have environment drive, we have function drive, we have registry. In registry again we will be having two drives. First is HKCU and the second one is HKLM. And after that we have variable drive and WSMan drive. And here we have three commandlets using which we can work with PS drives. So those commandlets are get PS drive, new PS drive and remove PS drive. So what we can do using get PS drive? So using get PS drive we can fetch either a particular PS drive or all the PS drives available. So if we want to fetch any particular PS drive, so we have to pass drive name with this commandlet, and if we are not specifying any option, so it will give us list of all the drives available. And what are all those drives we can fetch using this commandlet? So the type of those drives include Windows logical drive on the computer. So the logical drive are C drive, D drive, or we can fetch any network map shares as well. And apart from this, we can fetch all the inbuilt PS drives like alias drive, certificate drive, environment, function, variable, WSMan and registry drive which include HKLM and HKCU. And after that if we have created any PS drive using this commandlet called new PS drive, so those also will get listed over here. So those may include either temporary network drive or it can be persistent map network drive. So we will be able to get all those in the list. And what we can do using the new PS drive? So using new PS drive we will be able to create either temporary drive or we can create persistent drive that can be mapped to or associated with a location in data store. And those data store may be network drive or it can be a directory on the local computer or it can be registry key or it can be any persistent Windows map network drive, and that can be mapped on a remote computer. And if we have created any temporary drive, so temporary drive will be available only in the current PowerShell session. And if we have created any session, so in that session also we will be able to see the PS drive. And if we have created any temporary drive using this commandlet, so we will not be able to access those temporary drive by file explorer or WMI or component object model or .NET framework or any other tool like NetUse. So temporary drive will be accessible only in the current PowerShell session, and it will not be accessible using any other Windows tools. And if we want to create Windows mapped network drive using this commandlet, so we have to pass this parameter called persist. So after we pass this parameter while creating any network drive, so that drive becomes persistent. And persistent network drive are little different than the temporary drive, because this Windows map network drive are not session specific. It means when we are closing the session and we are reopening the session, so again we will be able to see those drives. And apart from this, we will be able to access those persistent network drive using Windows tools also, like File Explorer or NetUse also we can use to access those. And there are some mandatory parameters we have to follow to create new PS drive using this command. So what are all those mandatory parameters? Those mandatory parameters include, first of all, name. We have to choose any valid name which PowerShell accepts. And after that we have to specify the PS provider name. So as you know that every PS drive is associated with some PS provider, so it is mandatory that we have to specify the PS provider name. We can either specify file system or registry, so as per the type of PS drive. And at last we have to pass the path of the file system or any registry while creating the new PS drive. So we have to use one parameter called root. So with this one we have to pass the path. And at last, if I want to remove any PS drive, so we have to use this commandlet called remove PS drive. So what remove PS drive does, it deletes temporary PowerShell drives and including drives which we have created using this commandlet called new PS drive. And after Windows PowerShell 3, remove PS drive also disconnect map network drive, and if we have created any Windows map network drive using persist parameter, so those also will get deleted. But we will not be able to delete any Windows physical or logical drive. So this is one limitation of this commandlet. And in Windows PowerShell 3 onwards, if any external drive is connected, so PowerShell will automatically detects that one and we will be able to see PS drive related to that one. And again, if that external drive is disconnected, so we will see that PS drive related to that file system automatically got removed from the list. So we don't need to restart the PowerShell. So this is the feasibility, that every time we don't need to restart PowerShell. And here we will be seeing some demo, like how we can create or we can fetch something or we can delete any PS drive, and we will be seeing some more examples where we will be working with the content inside PS drive. So let us start and see the demo in detail. So to start the demo, I have opened PowerShell here, and here we will try some of few commands one by one. So first of all, if I don't know what are all those commands using which we can work with drives, so we have option in PowerShell to fetch all those lists. So to get those lists, we can use one commandlet called get command, and here in noun I will have to pass ps drive. So now you can see that I have got all these three commandlets which is basically specified to work with ps drives. And if you want to go little deep about this commandlet, and I want to know the syntax of this one, so using the same commandlet I can get the syntax of this one. So we have to use like this, and after that you have to pass a parameter called syntax. So after that you will get syntax of this particular commandlet, and you can explore what are all those options while using this commandlet. So in this commandlet all other parameters are optional and all are common to both the sets, but there is still one difference here. The first one is having name and the second one is having literal name, and both are mandatory. So either you can use name or you can use the literal name. You cannot use both together. And there is difference between name and literal name, that in name when you give any wildcard character like star or question mark, so it will be able to interpret the value of a star and question mark. But if you specify literal name, so it is not going to interpret the wildcard character. So you have to keep in mind while using these things. And now we will move further and we will be seeing what are the drives we will be getting when we use this commandlet called get ps drives. So if I execute this one, I will be getting list of all the drives which is already available inbuilt in PowerShell. So those drives include alias, and it is logical drives like C, D, E and F. After that we have certificate drive, we have environment drive, we have function drive, and after that we have registry drives which is in two part. First is HKCU and the second is SKLM. And after that we have variable, and after that we have WSMan. So here you have seen that if I have not specified any parameter with this commandlet, so by default we got list of all the drives available. But if I want to fetch information about any particular drive, so I will have to use the same commandlet, but with this I will have to specify the name of any drive. So I have just chosen alias, and now you can see here that I have got information about only alias. So this is how you can filter based on the name of drives. But if I want to filter based on the provider name, so we can specify like this. Here in ps provider you have to pass the name. So I will just choose any name like registry, and you can see that I have got the two drives available with registry providers. So those drives are HKCU and HKLM. Here moving further, if I want to create any new PS drive, so for that first of all if I want to check the syntax of new PS drive and want to check how we can use that one, so I will have to use the commandlet called get command, and in name section I will have to specify the commandlet name, and here in parameter I will have to specify the syntax. So while creating any new PS drive, you have to keep in mind that it has three mandatory parameters. So those mandatory parameters are name, PS provider and root. In name you have to specify any valid name for the drive, and in PS provider you have to choose which PS provider you are creating this one, and in root you have to select the path where that drive has to be accessed, and after that some of the optional parameters are there like description, scope, persist, credential, what if, confirm and use transactions. So moving further, if I want to create any new drive, so let's create. So to create any new drive, I will have to use the commandlet called new ps drive. Any name I will specify something like win, and in ps provider I will choose file system, and here in root I will have to give some path. I will give windows path, and as soon as I execute this line, so a new PS drive got created, and for that one we got information as well. So to verify in the list, I will have to use once again that get PS drive. So in this one you can verify that one new PS drive called bin has been created. So this is how we can create a basic and temporary PS drive. And if I want to create any PS drive for any network path, so we can use the same commandlet. In this one I will have to give name here like net drive. You can give any name according to feasibility with you, and here if you are creating any network path, it should be file system only, and in root you can give the path of that particular network share. So I have created already one network path. I will just copy path of that network file and I will paste it here. So after I execute this one, you can see the PS drive got created whose name is net drive and path is this one. So to see this one in the list, again execute get PS drive commandlet, and now you can see here that net drive got created. So this drive what we have created right now is again temporary. So if you closing this PowerShell session and reopening, so you will not see these drives because it is only temporary and it is available only within the PowerShell session. But we have option to make this one Windows specific so that we can access outside this session, and we can access that one in the file explorer or NetUse also. But to do that one, first of all I will just verify, just close this PowerShell session and reopen PowerShell once again. So this time we will try to create one network drive which will be persistent in nature. So I will have to use the same commandlet called ps drive, and here I will have to specify name for this one. So when you are going to create persistent network drive, it is mandatory that you have to use letter between A to Z, and hereafter I will specify the PS provider name, and it should be file system, and after that you have to use root, and in root again you have to give this path, and after very important thing you have to use the parameter called persist. So as soon as you execute this one network share will get created and it will assign to your Windows drives. So right now if you see here that we don't have any network drive right now. So after we execute this line, so as soon as we will see here one network drive. So let's execute this line and now you see that I have got the output after creating the network drive. So to verify once again in Windows, so here previously it was not available, right now it is available. So like this we have created one persistent network drive. Now moving to the next example, I would like to show you how we can create any PS drive for registry key. So we will have to use the same commandlet new PS drive, but we have to just change the parameter according to the requirement. So here I have given the name for the registry drive as CV key, and in PS provider you have to use here registry, and in root you can specify any registry path. So example I have chosen HKLM software, Microsoft Windows and current version. So after I execute this line, one registry drive will get created with this name and whose root path will be this one. So execute this one and you can see that it got created. So if I execute get PS drive, so in this one you can see here that we have one PS drive called CV drive whose provider is registry, and after that we have root. So this is how you can create PS drive for network drive, local drive or any registry drive. Here you have seen that I have created these many drives, but if I want to delete the drive, say for example I have created the N and now I want to delete this drive, so I will have to use the simple commandlet called remove PS drive. Any name I will have to specify the name of this drive. So as soon as you execute this one, so it will not be available anymore in the Windows also, and you can again verify using get PS drive. So here also you cannot see that any n named PS drive is available. Remove PS drive has one more feature. Using this commandlet you can delete any inbuilt PS drives as well, but that PS drives will get deleted from only the current session. So if you close the session and you establish once again, so you will see that these inbuilt drives are already once again available. So for example if I want to delete any drive like alias, so it got deleted. To verify once again you will see that alias is no more available in the list, but that got deleted from the temporary session. So if you close the session and you reopen this PowerShell once again, so that will be available. To verify I will close this PowerShell session. I have reopened PowerShell and here if you execute get PS drive, you will see that alias is once again available with us. So I hope this much was clear. So currently you have seen all the related commandlets using which we can manage on the PS drives. So what if I want to manage the contents of these drives, like if I want to manage any item or item property, So to do that one, I will have to use different commandlets. So how we can get list of all those commandlets? So I will have to use the commandlet called get command, and here in noun section I will have to specify item star. So wherever item is matching with the commandlets, so those all commandlets will get listed over here. So you can see we got these many commandlets where everything is common item. Item is common in all the commandlets. So these are the commandlets using which you can work with the items inside the PS drives. And in these commandlets there are two parameters. One is path and second is literal path. I had told you that when you are going to use path, so it will be able to interpret the name what you pass as a wildcard character. But if you are using the literal path, so it will not interpret, you have to pass it as it is. And in file system, an item can be a folder or it can be a file, but in a registry an item can be again a key or it can be a folder. So to move to home directory, I will have to use the commandlet like this. So this is my home directory, and here if I want to get content, so I will have to use get child item. So after I execute get child item, so all the folders inside my home directory will get listed over here, and it will include the file also if any. So likewise, if I want to get content inside any registry, so I will have to use the same commandlet, but I will have to pass the registry path. So I have used this path from where I want the content. So you can see this includes lot of things. So it has both, either it can be key or it can be folder. So this is how we can see. And here there is difference between item and item property. So we will see that difference as well. So if I want to fetch any particular item inside this folder, so I will have to use the get child item, and after that I will have to use this file name. So you can see that as I have executed this one, I have got the file name with some of its property. So those property includes mode, last write name and length. So by default currently we are getting only three properties, and if I want to get more properties, so we will have to use select star. And with this file, if I want only property, say for example if I want get item property, and in path I will have to specify once again this file name. So you can see in both the case we are getting same output. So either you can use get child item or you use get item property. So there is not much difference. Only difference is when you are using the get child item, it is listing out all the folders and files inside the correct directory or the directory you specify. And if you specify any file, so that it will give you the file information only. But if you are using the get item property, you will have to specify the particular file, and it will give you property about these files. Here if I want to change any property of a file, so I will have to use the set item property. So first of all, if I want to get all the property of this file. So as I had told you that you have to use select star. So this file has this many properties with it. So in this one we will try to change any one property of this one. So you are seeing here it has one property called is read only. So currently this is disabled and it is false. So if I want to enable this one and I want to convert this false into true, so I will have to use the commandlet called set item property, and in path I will have to specify the file name, and after that I will have to specify the name of that particular property. So the particular property is read only, and the latest value should be true. So after I executed this one, the property of the file got changed from is read only false to true. So let's verify that property. So currently you are seeing that is read only is true. So we have one another way also to verify the property. So go to the file and click on the property, and you will see that currently it is read only. Previously it was not read only. So we can change property like this. So if you want to change the property of a registry drive key, so we can do that as well here. So first of all I will move to some directory location, then we will try to change the property. So I have changed my current location to HKCU software, Microsoft Windows current version and Explorer. So to fetch all the keys available inside this one, all the child item, so I will have to use the get child item. So it includes lot of folders and keys inside this one. But if I want to fetch property of any particular key, so I will have to use the get item property. In get item property I will specify the particular item advanced. So you will see that advanced also includes lot of keys and with its values. And if I want to change any key value from this one, so I will have to use the set item property, and in path I will have to specify the, and after that I will have to give the key name. So I will use hide file ext and value will be 0. So currently for this one hide file ext, if you verify we have hide file ext is 0, and we will try to change from 0 to 1 here. So let's execute and see once again. So currently you will see that hide file ext has become 1. So I have shown you some few examples, but if you want to explore more, I have got some examples for you in PPT. So to work on the items, we have some more examples, like we can get item, we can get child item, we can copy item, we can move item, we can clear item, and after that we have remove item, set item, invoke item, new item, and rename item. So in right side you will be seeing that every commandlet is having some examples. So likewise for item property also we have get item property, we have copy item property, we have move item property, and after that we have clear item property. We have remove item property, we have set item property, we have new item property, and we have rename item property. So again for the content one we can get content, we can add content, we can clear content and we can set content, and we can get the current location or we can change the location. And if we have any path, so we can check the validity of that path using test path. And if we have two separate section of the path, so we can join them together using the join path. And if we have very long path and I want to split that one into smaller, then I can use the split path. And after that we have convert path. So you can see here that we have HKLM, which is in short form of HKey local machine. So if you use this convert path, so that will get expanded. And after that we have resolve path. So here I have used the wildcard character, so it has converted this wildcard into relative path. And at last we have some variables. So if you want to fetch value of some particular key, then just you have to use the drive, and after that under that drive you have to specify a particular variable, so automatically you will get the value what is inside that variable. So you can get for alias, you can get for environment or function or variable. So this is how we have come to the end of this topic, and to summarize this one, we have seen what is PS drive and we have seen some description about PS drives. We have also seen some of the inbuilt PS drives already available in PowerShell, and we have seen some of the commandlets like get PS drive, new PS drive and remove PS drive. And using this one we have seen how we can manage the PS drive. And after that we have seen some examples using which we can manage the content of any drives. So I hope this was clear to you, and that's all in today's video.